It's the middle of the night, June 13, 2020. Across Europe, 50,000 of the world's most dangerous criminals are sleeping soundly, believing their phones are impenetrable fortresses. They're about to get a wake-up call that will send them scrambling to smash their devices with hammers. This is the incredible true story of how the most secure criminal network ever built became the biggest police trap in history. 2 words. That's it. That's the message that flashed across their screens, sent from the network's own founder. A digital death sentence. You have to understand, just moments before this, a drug lord was ordering a hit. A trafficker was coordinating a shipment. They all thought they were ghosts in the machine, completely invisible. They couldn't have been more wrong. Just imagine it for a second. You're a high-level boss. You've got this sleek, heavy phone in your hand. No camera, no GPS. It costs a fortune, but that's the price of true secrecy. You're texting your crew about pineapples hitting the docks, a little code for your next big score. You feel completely safe, totally untouchable. But here's the chilling part. You're not untouchable. You're not a ghost. You're the star of a show, and law enforcement, they've got a front-row seat. Every single word you type, every plan you make, is being fed in real time directly to a police server. The walls don't have ears, but your phone does.
So, how in the world did this happen? How did a device literally designed by paranoids for paranoids become their single greatest weakness? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go back, way back, to the beginning.
Every criminal empire has an origin story. And for Encrochat, it didn't start in some high-tech lab. Nope. It started in a dingy pub basement with a huge power vacuum just waiting to be filled. See, back in early 2016, the cops took down another encrypted network that ran on old BlackBerries. All of a sudden, thousands of criminals were digitally silenced, desperate for a new way to talk shop. And in that pub basement, a couple of ex-soldiers, guys who knew their way around military comms and hacking, they saw this as a golden opportunity. By New Year's 2017, their little project, Encrochat, was officially open for business. And their ambition, well, it was massive. This wasn't just about selling some secure phones. They wanted to build a completely private, off-the-grid phone company, exclusively for people who operated in the shadows. It was a terrifyingly brilliant and illegal idea, but the profit potential was just too big to pass up. So what made these phones so special, so unhackable? It wasn't just one thing. It was layers and layers of obsessive paranoid security baked into every single handset. First, they went after the hardware. They didn't just turn off the GPS and the settings. They physically ripped the chip out of the phone. Same for the camera, same for the microphone and the USB port. This device could not track you, it could not see you, and it could not hear you. It was a ghost by design. And it had this incredibly clever disguise. If you just turned it on, it looked like a boring, cheap Android phone. Nothing to see here. But if you pressed a special combination of buttons, a secret, hidden operating system would boot up. It was like a digital speakeasy, hiding the entire criminal underworld in plain sight. And the software? Oh, it was a work of art. Messages would just vanish. Think Snapchat, but for organizing billion-dollar drug deals. There was a special panic pin you could enter that would instantly wipe every single piece of data from the device. If you enter the wrong password too many times, the phone would just brick itself. It was built to make its user feel completely and totally invincible.
Now, the company officially claimed its customers were, VIPs and celebrities who needed privacy, but when the police actually looked into it, they couldn't find a single one, not one. Europol later estimated that a staggering 90% of all Encrochat users were tied to major organized crime. The VIPs line, that was just for show.
But with every phone they sold, the target on their back got bigger. Every message sent was another blip on the radar of every police force in Europe. And eventually, all that attention led investigators to one single fatal mistake in the network's design.
That was the million-dollar question, right? You're law enforcement. You can't break the encryption. You can't pull data off a phone if you seize it. So what do? You have to change the game. Instead of trying to break down the door to the fortress, what if you could get someone to just let you inside?
And here it is, the fatal flaw. The founders were brilliant, but they missed one thing. To keep the phone secure, they had to send out software updates. And to do that, every single phone in the world had to briefly connect to one central server. And French investigators found that server, sitting in a data center in a town called Roubaix. That was their way in.
The plan they came up with was straight out of a spy movie.
They didn't try to hack 50,000 phones one by one. They only hacked one thing, that update server. They secretly placed their own piece of malware on it and disguised it as a routine security patch. When Encrochat pushed out their next update, they unknowingly delivered a police spy directly onto every single phone they had ever sold. For months, that little piece of malware sat there, silently recording everything, passcodes, notes, and every single message before it was even encrypted. The police had a live, all-access pass to the heart of organized crime. But what happens when the creators of the unhackable phone finally realize they've been hacked?
In May of 2020, the founders knew something was deeply wrong. They found the police malware and frantically pushed out an update to kill it. But the police were waiting. The second that patch went live, they hit back with a second, even more powerful piece of malware. It was a digital checkmate. The ex-soldiers had been completely outplayed. They knew the game was up. So they had to do the one thing they never thought they'd do: burn their own empire to the ground. They sent out that one last desperate message, telling every user their security was gone and to physically destroy their phones. And on June 13th, that message hit 50,000 devices, sparking pure chaos across the entire criminal underworld.
The fallout was just mind-blowing. The data the police collected was an absolute goldmine. We're talking over 6,500 arrests, tons and tons of seized drugs and weapons, and nearly $1 billion in dirty cash taken off the streets. It was the single biggest takedown of organized crime communications ever.
But here's the thing about the criminal world. When one king falls, another is always waiting in the wings to take the throne. The end of Encrochat was not the end of the story, not even close.
That power vacuum Encrochat was born from? Well, now there was a new one. All those criminals needed a new phone, and a rival company called Sky ECC was more than happy to sell them one. It was the exact same business model, just with a different logo. And incredibly, they were about to make the exact same mistakes. Get this. Less than a year after the Encrochat takedown, police infiltrated Sky ECC using a very similar playbook. It was like watching a rerun. History repeated itself with terrifying speed. The cops had figured out the secret, and the criminals, well, they had a very short memory.
The story of Encrochat proved you could build a nearly perfect, impenetrable network. But law enforcement proved that where there's a will, there's always a way in. And this constant cat-and-mouse game isn't just happening in the underworld. It's the same fight for privacy that's happening on the apps we all use every single day. So it leaves you with a pretty chilling question, doesn't it? In this digital war of ghosts and backdoors, how secure are any of us, really?